everything here, but nobody's any better at this than you are.
Have fun, take a deep breath.
Give him hell at the end. You like to?
Fight like hell like we do every week. You are the best here.
Brett, be affirmative.
You told me to get on.
Info. Ready. Ready. Go slow. Green, green, green. Lock it down, lock it down.
I'm destroyed, and I just got drove through like 6 times on the 14th. What the f*** is he thinking? That is the stupidest thing I've seen in my career. Literally.
Everything you described is accurate. Haven't even finished the second stage yet. Half the field's wrecked.
Hell yeah.
11 got it.
Rowdy there, Matt. Good job, pal. Thanks, man. Good job all day. Great work, my man. Great work.
Keep putting yourself in position, we'll win our share, right? We got one back today, brother. Good job.
Therefore, great job, guys.
And welcome to another week of racing in the draft. This week, Martinsville Speedway, week 8 in the NASCAR Cup Series. Hopefully you enjoyed a week off and got to spend some time with family or vacation or doing something else other than watching racing. I had a great time, went camping with the family and enjoyed myself greatly. But this week, once again, we're at Martinsville, and I'm kind of guessing that NASCAR had wished they had tested wet weather tires at Martinsville sooner. This past week on April Fool's Day, they went wet weather testing for tires. As you can see in this picture, that's what they look like. And here's how they ended up doing that. They literally poured water onto the track and then pretty much set Kyle Larson loose for a few fast laps around Martinsville. He said that he thought the tire was going to hold up well enough and would be good enough to race on an oval in the rain with wet weather tires. It's the same tire that they use at road courses when it rains there. Now there's lots of issues on, do you start prepping cars for potential rain at short tracks? This would not be something that they would use at the larger tracks, or even the high bank of, like, let's say a Bristol. This would be much more of a Martinsville, Richmond type of track that they could possibly use this at. I think it's kind of cool that they're thinking outside the box, but you know, we won't dwell on that too much, but it looks like it's going to be a wet weekend at Martinsville. I'm actually currently taping this while waiting out the rain delay in the Xfinity Series. They got 90 laps in, and the rain showed up again. It had rained earlier in the day, and we're waiting it out. So I thought I'd make this quick video for you guys. And without further ado, let's get into, and this week we are racing at Martinsville Speedway, the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500. Martinsville is a short track. Track length is 0.526 miles and only 12-degree bankings in the turn, and the straightaways are flat. The race length is 500 laps. Dominator points will be a premium this week, with 350 total Dominator points available. 125 of those are laps led, 225 fast laps. So let's get into the driver by driver breakdown with our highest priced driver at $12,000. Martin Truex Jr. has raced 30 times here, and he takes the top spot on the power ranking also, as well as being the highest priced driver. He'll be starting 7th. He has 2 wins in the last 5 races here at Martinsville. Has a 110.6 DraftKings average and an 8.0 average finish. Last fall, he finished 22nd. In the 30 races, he has 7 top 5s along with those 2 wins. Next in line, Carl Larson at 11,700. Kyle has raced here a total of 12 times, power ranking of 8th. And I actually even, the data tells me 8, but my heart tells me that it's probably going to be worse than that. But this is all about data, so we go off of that. He is a power ranking of 8th. He has 0 wins, 0 top 5s in the last 5 starts here. Has a 10.9 DraftKings average, 21.3 average finish. Did not race here in the fall or spring race. Has no wins and only 1 top 5 out of those 12. Why he's priced 11,700 is beyond me. I do not recommend having much of Kyle other than maybe a smidge here and there. So be very careful by playing Kyle Larson this week. Next in line, Chase Elliott, our winner in the fall race. He will be starting 5th, power ranking of 5. He does have that 1 win, 3 top 5s in his last 5, a 69.5 DraftKings average, a 10.2 average finish, and 4 top 5s out of his total of 11 starts here at Martinsville. Next in line, Brad Keselowski, 11,000. He will be starting 10th. Power ranking of 2nd. He does have 1 win here in the last 5 races. He has 5 top 5s in the last 5 races, an 83.6 DraftKings average, 3.2 average finish. He finished 4th here in the fall. Has a total of 2 wins and 11 top 5s out of 22 races. So half the time that he has raced here, he has finished in the top 5. Next in line, Joey Logano, his teammate, priced in at 10,700. Power ranking of 3rd, has 1 win, 3 top 5s, a 78.8 DraftKings average, a 7th place average finish. He finished 3rd here in the fall, 1 win, 8 top 5s out of his 24 starts. Next in line, we go starting at 10,400, Denny Hamlin. He will be starting 2nd. In his last, he has a power ranking of 4 this week, 3 top 5s out of his last 5 starts, a 50.5 DraftKings average, 9.2 average finish. He has a total of 30 starts here. He does have 5 wins and 15 top 5s. So half the time he starts here, he finishes in the top 5. Pretty good stats for Denny Hamlin, driver from Virginia, so right down the road. Ryan Blaney next in line, power ranking of 6th, has a total of 10 starts here. In his last 5, he has 4 top 5s, a 55.7 DraftKings average, 6.6 average finish. He finished 2nd here in the fall. No wins yet, but 5 top 5s out of his 10. So just like Denny, half of his finishes are in the top 5. Next in line, Kyle Busch, power ranking of 7, and we've talked about Kyle quite a few times in the past where he has really struggled with not having the ability to practice, and that really affecting his ability to have a car that's ready to race. He typically gets better as the race goes on, but if he has trouble early, that has cost him some very valuable spots so far this year. Power ranking of 7th. Kind of like Kyle Larson, I'll have a smidge of Kyle Busch just to make sure I have some exposure, but I don't expect high hopes from Kyle Busch this weekend either. But let's go look at his stats. He has 2 top 5s in his last 5 races here at Martinsville, a 48.7 DraftKings average and a 9.8 average finish. He finished 9th here in the fall race. He does have 2 wins here at Martinsville and 16 top 5s out of 31 races. So just like the others, he finishes half the time in the top 5. Next in line, Kevin Harvick, 9,600, starting 9th with a power ranking of 9th. Has 0 wins, 0 top 5s in the last 5 races here with a 38.2 DraftKings average and an 11th place average finish. Not the best at Martinsville, but not the worst. He's had moments of great experience with his one win, 5 top 5s out of 39 races. Not as good as the previous drivers we have been discussing. Next in line, Alex Bowman at 9,200, a power ranking of 11th, no wins, no top 5s, and a 29.9 DraftKings average, a 14.6 average finish. He has raced here 10 times and 3 top 10s and finished 6th here in the fall. Next in line, Kurt Busch, somebody who else has performed fairly well over here over his history of racing at Martinsville. But in the last 5 races, he has 0 wins, 4 top 10s, a 46.5 DraftKings average, 7.6 average finish. He'll be starting 21st Saturday night, if they actually race Saturday night. He finished 5th here in the fall. He does have 2 wins, 9 top 10s, and has started here 41 total times. William Byron, 8,700. 12th on the power ranking. He'll be starting 3rd. No wins, 2 top 10s, and his last 5 starts. 23.2 DraftKings average, a 21st average finish. He finished 35th here in the fall race and has those 2 top 10s out of his total 6 starts here. Christopher Bell, 8,400, power ranking of 18th, no wins, no top 10s, 21.0 DraftKings average, and a 21.5 average finish. Finished here 15th in the fall, no wins, 0 top 10s, has only raced here twice in the Cup car. Eric Almirola, who is also with Stewart-Haas Racing with Kevin Harvick. I don't know what's going on with Stewart-Haas, but they just cannot seem to get their act together and have the speed that they had last year, this year. Because of his 31st place start this weekend, Eric does have a power ranking of 16th. If he were starting higher than that, that power ranking would go down. So there is some PD upside with Eric this weekend. He does have a total of 24 total starts here. 0 wins, 2 top 10s, 19.2 DraftKings average, and a 19.4 average finish. If he can just get his average finish, it would give him at least 11 place differential, so 11 points along with his points that he would get for finishing 20th. But he finished 7th here in the fall, 0 wins, and 5 top 5s out of his 24 starts. Next in line, Matty DiNabenedetto, $7,800. Power ranking of 18th. He has 0 wins, 2 top 10s, a 26.5 DraftKings average, a 17.8 average finish. Finished 10th here in the fall and only has those 2 top 10s out of his 12 total starts. Starting to get into some value plays. Tyler Reddick, this is not somebody that's a value play. Tyler Reddick, 7,500, 25th on the power ranking, no wins, no top 10s, a 19.4 DraftKings average, 20.0 average finish. He finished 24th here in the fall and has only raced here twice. Bubba Wallace, next in line, 7,300, starting 25th, does have a power ranking of 13th this week. Probably a decent middle-of-the-road play. He has put himself in the optimal lineup in the past here at Martinsville. He has a 34.9 DraftKings average out of his last 5 starts and a 19.2 average finish. He did finish 21st here in the fall, and he has raced a total of 6 times. Austin Dillon, 7,100, starting 18th this weekend, a power ranking of 21, 0 wins, 0 top 10s in the last 5 starts, 20.9 DraftKings average, 24.6 average finish. He finished 23rd here in the fall and does have 2 top 10s out of his 14 total starts here at Martinsville. Next in line, Cole Custer, first person in the yellow to red zone. Somebody I will not have a whole lot of interest in, coming out of the Stewart-Haas stable, who, as we just discussed, is having issues and struggles with finding speed and handling. Starting 26th, he has a 24.0 DraftKings average, a 21st place average finish. He finished 13th here in the fall and has raced here only twice. Next in line, the Rocket Man Ryan Newman at $6,800, 22nd on the power ranking, 2 top 10s, a 39.7 DraftKings average, 14.2 average finish. He is starting 8th this weekend, so little to no room for PD upside with an average finish of 14.2. That's the reason why he ended up falling down to a 22nd power ranking. He has raced here 38 times. He does have 1 win and 8 top 5s. Eric Jones at 6,600, 23rd on the power ranking, starting 16th. Eric has 3 top 20s, 16.7 average finish, 21.6 average finish. Finished 12th here in the fall, but remember he was racing for Joe Gibbs Racing and now racing for Richard Petty. Now, being at Martinsville, that may be a plus because Richard Petty was dominant here when he did race at Martinsville and understands and knows this track very well. Not that that equates to a whole lot, other than he does have a great pedigree in Richard Petty to listen to and coach him on how to get around this track very well. 8 total starts here, 0 top 10s, and no wins out of his 8 starts. Chris Buescher, power ranking of 15th, is starting 15th, has 3 top 20s, a 23.9 DraftKings average, and a 19.4 average finish. He did finish 38th here in the fall and has raced here 11 times. Ross Chastain, the Watermelon Man, 6,300, starting 27th, has a power ranking of 24th, has an 11.8 DraftKings average and a 30.7 average finish, and only 1 top 10 out of his 4 total starts here at Martinsville. Chase Briscoe, $6,100, starting 24th, has not raced a Cup car here before. Last year in the Xfinity Series, he finished 7th, and that was his only start in the Xfinity Series at Martinsville. And he started 5th. He had a 35.9 DraftKings points that day. Next in line, Daniel Suarez, who had a tremendous run at Bristol, leading laps on the dirt and not being a dirt expert. That was amazing to see. 5,900. The problem is when you run really well the week prior, that moves your starting spot up. He will be starting 11th. He has been surprising this year. He may continue to surprise, but I'm still not 100% sold enough to put him into a tremendous amount of lineups. He will probably be 20 to 25% owned inside of my lineups. 2 top 10s, 21.5 DraftKings average here at Martinsville, 21st average finish. He finished 16th here in the fall, 0 wins, 0 top 10s out of his total 5 starts here at Martinsville. Next in line, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who had another tremendous weekend last weekend at Bristol on the dirt, 5,800, and because of his great finish of 2nd last weekend, he will be starting 6th this weekend. Martinsville's not a bad track for him. It's not a great track for him. He's a little too aggressive for this little tricky half-mile track, but he does have a power ranking of 17th this weekend, a 24.7 DraftKings average, and a 19.4 average finish. No wins, no top 10s out of his 8 total starts. Ryan Preece, 5,600, and power ranking of 30th, 24.6 DraftKings average, 20th place average finish. He finished 19th here in the fall, 0 wins, 0 top 10s out of his 8 total starts. Micheal McDowell at 5,500, 26th on the power ranking, will be starting 14th. No wins, no top 10s, 15.2 DraftKings average, and a 24.2 average finish. Finished 28th here in the fall and has raced 20 total times with no top 10s. Justin Haley at 5,400, starting 30th. No Cup starts here, but does have a power ranking of 20th because he is starting at 30th, which gives him a lot of good PD upside if he can have a good weekend. He does have his Xfinity starts, since they've only raced here once. I had to look back at other tracks that are similar. Phoenix and Richmond would be the two that really come to mind that are similar. He does have 2 top 5s in the Xfinity car at similar track types, a 42.3 DraftKings average, 10.2 average finish. He did race here in the fall race for Xfinity and finished 12th, and he did race a few races in the Truck Series and has a 6th place finish. Justin Haley may not be a bad pick for this weekend. He is getting some experience also in the Xfinity race that's currently under a red flag rain delay that we're still waiting out. Let's see. Yeah, quick glance. I don't see him on the leaderboard, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. Actually, he's not racing. Take that back. No, they can't. If you're a Cup Series regular, you can't race in the Xfinity race because of the... No, Justin Haley is racing. He is currently in 12th place out of 91 laps. So, yes, he is racing. But Cup Series regulars cannot race in the race tonight for Xfinity because it's a Dash for Cash race. And that takes the top 4 full-time Xfinity racers, and they battle it out for $100,000 in prize money. But Justin Haley is getting some experience tonight. He will be the only one that will have experience that he can carry over to Saturday or whenever they happen to race. Next in line, Anthony Alfredo at 5,300 has never raced at Martinsville ever in anything other than maybe iRacing. He does do a lot of iRacing. I don't know how well he's done in iRacing, but I'm not taking any of him. 32nd on the power ranking, and his only short track appearance so far this year was at Phoenix and finished 37th. Corey LaJoie might be our best money value pick of the weekend. $5,200, starting 34th. A ton of PD upside. Has raced here 6 times. Finished 25th here in the fall race. Has an average finish of 23.5 and a 25.8 DraftKings average with 2 top 20s. We're now into the group of guys that have not met the optimal lineup at all this year or pretty much all of last year. So will not be venturing past this point to look for value or drivers. But we'll cover them anyways. James Davison, $5,000. Raced here once, finished 36th. BJ McLeod, 4,900. Has raced here once in the Cup car, once here in the Xfinity Series, where he finished 33rd. He's raced the Truck Series here twice and finished 17th best. Starting 36th, he does offer some PD upside, but once again, these guys are not in the optimal lineup. JJ Yaley, 4,800, has raced here 19 total times. He finished 31st here in the fall, 13.3 DraftKings average, and a 30 place average finish. He has 2 Xfinity finishes where his best is 14th. Cody Ware, 4,700, has started here once and finished 36th. He will be starting 32nd this weekend and has no Xfinity starts, 37th and dead last on the power rankings. Josh Bilicki, 4,600, has started here once, has no Xfinity or truck, did finish 32nd, so 1 place better than where he is starting currently. Not that he will repeat that, but 34th on the power rankings. Now Josh Bilicki does have a lot of practice time in iRacing because I ended up doing some practice myself in iRacing in the Cup cars, and lo and behold, I was the first one into the practice session, and the second person to the practice session was Mr. Josh Bilicki. He didn't say anything, but it was kind of neat practicing with him. He was about 4/10 faster than me on an average lap. Just a little kind of fun thing that happened to me this weekend. It's kind of neat. You kind of go in there and start racing, and you end up racing with the guys that race full-time in real cars. Next in line, Quinn Huff at 4,500, has raced here twice, average finish of 33.5, 9.0 DraftKings average, no Xfinity starts, and his best finish is 33rd. That covers all of our guys for this week. Let's look at who should be our dominators. We are going to need 2 or 3, maybe even 4 dominators if we can fit them in. It's going to be tough. The pricing this weekend is pretty fair across the board, in my opinion. But I have Martin Truex at the top of the board for Dominator, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Larson are my top 10 Dominators, with Martin, Brad, Joey, and Chase being the cream of the crop. Place differential, I'm looking at Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, and Corey LaJoie as my top 4. Others that could potentially have good PD upside, Kyle Busch, Corey LaJoie, Eric Almirola, Kyle Larson, Justin Haley, BJ McLeod, and Cole Custer. And then after I put at least 2 to 3 dominators in and at least 2 place differentials, I then go back and look at my fill-in drivers, which would be guys that I think potentially could or probably not hurt my lineups too much. Chris Buescher, Christopher Bell, Matty D, Ricky Stenhouse, Austin Dillon, Ryan Newman, Eric Jones, and we get down here to Ross Chastain and Tyler Reddick and Micheal McDowell. Not sure I had to have much of those. I would probably stick to the top 6 in the fill-in spots. Optimal lineups, as we can see, going through here at Daytona, which was definitely a place differential race. We discussed this kind of last week. We can see here all these guys that made the optimal lineup started 12th or worse. We get into a little bit less of the PD upside and more dominating type races. Kyle Larson dominated, leading 103 laps. Next in line, the Daytona Road Course does not require any dominator. It's all place differential. Oops. If we get down here to Bristol Dirt Race, we're starting to see a little bit more. This weekend is the first weekend we have really, really high dominator point numbers. So let's look at the optimal lineups from last year to kind of get a little bit of that. So Chase Elliott in the fall race was the absolute dominator, leading 236 laps and 110 fast laps, gave him 160.5 points, which is almost double the second highest point getter in Ryan Blaney at 81.95 points, who had 51 fast laps and 36 laps led. After that, we only had one pseudo dominator with a slight PD upside with Joey Logano. And then we had 3 place differentials, even though Ryan Preece was not really a PD upside. It was a value pick at $5,600. And then once we look at the spring race here, we actually had 4 dominators, which is very unusual that you could actually fit in 4 dominators into a race. Martin Truex leading 132 laps and Joey Logano leading 234 laps, both scoring over 100 points, which I haven't gone back to look, but I don't remember many races, if any at all, where 2 drivers both had over 100 points and you were able to fit both of them in the lineup. They were able to fit into the lineup because of the value save with Chris Buescher and Micheal McDowell. But 452 points total is a huge number. But that just shows how the importance of finishing position and dominators will be at a track like Martinsville when they run 500 laps. So once again, here's our dominators. Martin Truex, Brad Keselowski, Joe Logano, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, and so on. So definitely you want at least 2, if not 3, and as we see potentially even 4 dominators for this race, and 2 to 3 place differential drivers. And that's pretty much all I have for this weekend at Martinsville. Hopefully the race will go off without too much of a hitch this weekend. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Wish you the best of luck. If you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to the video. Share with anybody else that you may think would be interested in this content. And I look forward to hearing if you did well this past weekend. Have a great one and stay dry out there. Thanks. Bye.
Get a good deep breath. Get ready to roll here. Only about one thing tonight, getting the W's, so got to be around the end to do that. Get ready to roll tonight, boys. Go have some fun.
Don't get me any more fired up than I already am.
All the way to the checkered. You're fine. Nobody's got to run. Checker time, baby! Hell yeah! Proud of you there, Matt. Good job, pal. Thanks, man. Good job all day. Great work, my man. Great work. Keep putting yourself in position. We'll win our share, right? We got one back today, brother. Good job. Great job, guys. Excellent work, my man. Excellent work. Thank you.
Man, that's awesome. Set out with a goal, we got it here, bud. Thank you very much.
Really proud of you, man. You drove your butt off tonight. We had the fastest car here, bud.
Probably killed our deal there. Just feel like I gave one away.
Yeah, boys. Way to rebound. Great job. Great job, bud. Really good job. Appreciate you hanging in there with us all weekend. What a weekend. Good job. Thank you.